Imagine a punishment so twisted, so deliberately cruel, that death wasn't the worst part. It was the slow, conscious unraveling of your body while you were still trapped inside it. No quick execution, no mercy, just rot, insects, and time. This was Scaphism, a method so brutal it makes every other historical execution look almost humane. If dark history fascinates you, hit subscribe. You won't want to miss what's coming. Take a wooden coffin, split it in half. Now place a human body between the two halves, head, arms, and legs sticking out, and seal it shut. Then float that coffin on stagnant water under a blazing sun. That's the setup. But this wasn't just about exposure or discomfort. The real torture started with milk and honey. Not as kindness, as a weapon. The victim was force-fed until bloated, then smeared with more honey across every inch of exposed skin. Why? To invite insects, flies, wasps, ants, maggots, everything that crawls, bites, burrows, and devours. Over days, and sometimes weeks, those insects didn't just swarm. They settled in. They ate. This method had a name: Scaphism, also called the boats. It wasn't designed to kill quickly. It was engineered to keep someone alive and aware while their body was slowly dismantled by nature itself. The name Scaphism comes from the Greek word scaphe, meaning boat or trough. But the people who actually used it, they probably didn't call it that. This execution method is believed to have originated in the Achaemenid Persian Empire, one of the most powerful civilizations of the ancient world. They called it simply the boats, a name that sounds almost harmless, until you understand what it meant. Scaphism wasn't routine punishment. It was reserved for traitors, people who crossed the line so hard that death alone wasn't enough. The goal wasn't just to eliminate the enemy. It was to erase their humanity, make them suffer loudly and visibly, and send a message that would echo across the empire. It worked. Even centuries later, people still talk about it. The most detailed account of Scaphism doesn't come from a Persian record. It comes from a Greek historian named Plutarch, who wrote about a soldier called Mithridates. In 401 BC, during a brutal power struggle, King Artaxerxes II fought his brother Cyrus the Younger for the Persian throne. After the battle, Mithridates, just a regular soldier, made one fatal mistake. He bragged that he had killed the rebel prince. Bad move. Artaxerxes had already claimed that kill himself. A low-ranking soldier stealing credit for the king's glory? That wasn't just embarrassing, it was treasonous. So the king didn't just punish Mithridates, he made an example out of him. Scaphism was the method. According to Plutarch, Mithridates was trapped between two boats, force-fed milk and honey, smeared with more of it, and left to rot while insects devoured him alive. His execution lasted 17 days. 17. He didn't just die, he was dismantled. Scaphism wasn't just physical torture, it was psychological warfare, executed with precision. Step 1. The trap. The victim was stripped naked and sandwiched between two wooden boats or hollowed-out logs. Only the head, arms, and legs were left exposed. They couldn't move, couldn't scratch, couldn't escape, just stuck, like bait. Step 2. The feeding. Every day, executioners poured milk and honey into the victim's mouth. It wasn't about nourishment, it was sabotage. The body bloated, the bowels gave out, and the lower half of the victim sat in a growing pool of their own waste. The stench? Unimaginable. But it got worse. Step 3. The infestation. More honey was smeared across the exposed skin. Insects came fast. Flies, ants, wasps. They bit. They laid eggs. Larvae hatched and burrowed into flesh. The wounds festered. Maggots squirmed. Infection spread. Still, the victim stayed alive, just barely. Step 4. The breakdown. The sun burned by day. The cold gnawed at night. Dehydration set in. Skin cracked. Muscles cramped. Rats sometimes appeared, drawn by the scent of rot, and gnawed on fingers, toes. Anything soft. All the while the heart kept beating. The brain kept working. The body failed slowly. And that was the point. Here's the twist. We only have one detailed account of Scaphism, and it comes from a Greek historian, not a Persian one. That account is from Plutarch, writing centuries after the events he describes. Later, in the 12th century, Byzantine writer Zonaras retold the same story with even more gruesome detail. But no Persian records mention Scaphism, not one. So, was it real? Some historians think Plutarch exaggerated, maybe even invented parts of it. After all, Greek writers had a habit of painting their Persian enemies as barbaric monsters. Others argue that just because Persian sources are silent doesn't mean it didn't happen. Records get lost, erased, or buried all the time. But here's the disturbing truth. Even if Scaphism was only half real, someone still imagined it. Someone thought this up, step by twisted step. And that fact alone is terrifying. Scaphism wasn't just about killing someone, it was about breaking them and making sure everyone else watched. This method wasn't carried out in secret. Victims were left in public places, near busy roads or swamps, where soldiers, civilians, and even children could see the slow-motion horror unfold. The message was clear. Betray the empire, and this is what happens. It was fear as policy. Other executions offered a quick end, a sword, a rope, maybe a fire. Scaphism was different. It turned a person into a living billboard of agony. Every swollen bite, every scream, every foul stench was part of the sentence. And the worst part? The condemned knew it was coming. They were fed just enough to stay alive, just enough to feel every moment. Hope died long before the body did. This wasn't justice. It was control, through horror. And that's what makes Scaphism so terrifying. Not the gore, not even the pain, but the hopelessness, the certainty that death is coming, but not yet. Not for days, maybe weeks. All you can do is wait. And the people around you? They're not coming to help. They're watching. Scaphism wasn't just the cruelest punishment ever invented. It was a message carved into flesh. A slow-motion horror show designed not only to end a life, but to ruin it first. It blurred the line between justice and sadism, turning the human body into a battlefield of rot, infection, and despair. And whether every detail is historically accurate or partly exaggerated doesn't even matter. What matters is that someone thought of it. Someone made it real, for at least one victim, and maybe many more. That's the legacy of Scaphism, not just a punishment but a warning. A reminder that history isn't only built on laws, empires, or kings. It's built on fear, and sometimes on nightmares you can't wake up from.